What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Box Out Boys podcast. We're the NBA podcast of the people, your home for lukewarm takes and substandard analysis. I'm Titus, Two Shots Dominguez, and with me, as always, is Chris, the Stats Man Gorman. Hit him with the stats, Chris.
Hey. Since the last time we talked and crowned the OKC Thunder the number one team in the league, they are 4-4, 11-4, now second or third in the West.
How the mighty have fallen.
Ooh, but nice.
And his lines are as even as those 4-4 records. It's the lawnmower, Trey McCroskey. Get that joke.
You guys getting all your leaves cleaned up?
No, I'm leaving them for the bugs.
For the bugs?
Yeah, aren't you supposed to leave them for bugs?
What the hell are you talking about?
I read an article. It says the moths and stuff, they put their larvae under there, so don't disturb the leaves.
Was that from Vegan Today?
It's probably from Vegan Today.
I'm curious about this theory because
look at that. I've heard about this.
I mean, the wind is blowing right now, so like, is the larva just getting blown?
The rain, it's melting them down. I don't know. I just heard it, and I'm not gonna lie to you. It was just an easy way for me to go. Well, guess I don't have to do that this year.
I thought you were kidding. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We'll Google it.
Yeah,
it's a great excuse. We'll have a new. I'm being environmentally friendly, so we'll have maybe a new fact next week. We'll find out when we do our research.
Yeah, you're gonna lift some leaves up and check underneath them for larvae.
Yeah, look for larvae and whatever else I can find.
Catch a weedle under there or something.
A weedle, a little Caterpie. You want to do Pokemon real quick? Pokemon session.
All right.
Chris, all right, guys, let's get to the show. All right, we're going to get to the show. Fun show tonight. We're going to, I guess kind of a fun show here. We're going to talk about injuries, all the injuries in the league. And then we're going to break down some of these hot starts. Obviously, the Cavs 15-1, their first loss last night to the Celtics. We're going to talk about them. Are they a real title contender or not? We're also going to touch on Dallas and maybe talk about Jokic and Ant, kind of having some moments here. And then at the end of the show, I'm going to give you guys an update on the NBA Cup, Emirates Cup, Cupdate. You guys know I'm all in on the Cup.
I love the Cupdate. It's great.
Love the Cupdate. So we'll do a Cupdate to end the show. Oh, all right. Well, the NBA apparently has an injury problem. We have tons of stars out right now. Obviously, like Kristaps from the beginning of the season, Aaron Gordon's out, Kawhi Leonard out. I love Joey's note he sent to the group chat. Knee, who knows when he'll be back. John Morant's out week to week, but apparently might not get back till Christmas. Zion, Chet Holmgren, Banchero, Durant. Wild. Joey, what did you say?
I said on and on.
On and on. Okay. I thought you said Donovan. I was like, wait, Donovan's out now too? That just happened tonight. On and on. Joey, what are your thoughts on kind of all these injuries? What seems to be the most impactful one going forward? Obviously, some teams are having some setbacks here.
I feel like I have to give it like a Tess Mellis answer where it has to be like, well, it's probably the least impactful injury in terms of longevity of it. But when you pair it with the other guy in his team who is just perpetually injured, it has to be the Philadelphia 76ers and Tyrese Maxey specifically. And the reason I say that is they're 2-6, 2-7, having team meetings where they're what's it? Most improved player is calling out the reigning MVP, gold medal winning champion who looked great in the summer for not being on time to things, which I think kind of spreads into some of the comments he's made about not treating the regular season, not taking it seriously, but kind of, saving everything up for the playoffs. And for your guy who's injured and not playing to say that, I think is pretty telling. And I also say Maxey because I'm starting to get like weird Brooklyn Nets vibes with this team, where it was like coming into it, it was like you've got three guys who, one guy is kind of like the one you can count on. I think maybe Kyrie was ideally that guy, and like Maxey, right? Like the guy who's less drama, just kind of like there, but then it turned into drama, right? With Kyrie's whole suspension and disappearing act. but the three of them have yet to play a game together, right? Maxey, Paul George, and Embiid have yet to play a game, all three of them. They're 2-7, and they paid Tyrese Maxey a lot of money. Like he got his deal this past season. And for them to make something out of this season, it has to kind of happen soon. I know the East is weak, but
yeah,
you've got teams that we were kind of guessing would be at the bottom or like, bottom middle that are kind of feasting on it right now. And like, they're kind of, building up some of those wins. And at some point they're going to have to figure this out. And I know Max is going to be back here the next, game or two, maybe tonight, tomorrow, whatever it is. But I just feel like he's the engine that kind of makes them run. And if they're seeing him out there going, like maybe it kind of brings it all together for them. I just don't think without him, they have enough kind of power, which is weird to say because Embiid's right, former MVP. Paul George should be pretty useful, but they haven't been good without him. They haven't been good with him. So I think it's impactful for me because they need to have all three of them together to get this kind of situated before they turn into the Brooklyn Nets and it's, March and they're saying, hey, they've only played 14 games together or something like that.
Well, I think, like you said, they just need to see what this is. I mean, obviously, they're bottom of the Eastern Conference right now at 2-11. I mean, third place is only 9-6. The Orlando Magic, who are dealing with the injury of their own, Banchero, but they're kind of holding it together. Knicks haven't been, putting it all together quite yet. But it's starting to get late for the Sixers. Like, if you're going to turn it around, you got to do it soon. Chris, what's been your sort of most impactful injury that you're seeing out there right now?
I mean, the Sixers, we've talked enough about the Sixers. Yeah. Screw the Sixers. Forget them. They forget me. I'm out on them. Embiid's back, sure. But, like,
there's no fixing him?
He doesn't look.
Is he back, though? Like,
they're down right now to the Grizzlies that have no game talk. And it's just not looking pretty at all. But my impactful injuries, the Pelicans. Can we talk about the Pellies? DeJounte Murray's played one game for this team. Yeah. Zion's already out. I had the list up, and I don't have it right now.
CJ McCollum's out.
Jordan Hawkins is out. Yeah, McCollum's out. Like, all these guys. This team is never healthy, and it's the craziest thing in the world to me. And
is Ingram out there grinding?
It's pretty much him building up that trade trade value.
So that team is rough. But I also wanted to talk about the Toronto Raptors. Scotty Barnes has only played 4 games this year. Emmanuel Quickly's only played 3. Jakob Poeltl looks great. Grady Dick is coming up and scoring 18 points a game. RJ Barrett's at 23. This team would be a team if they just didn't have these injuries. And I think that's like under the radar, quote unquote, kind of
it's a deep cut
injury. Because
it's the injury tank.
They were also the long shot team for me to make the playoffs. And I still stand by it if they were healthy. So
if they get healthy, East is in range right now where they get into the mix for at least for the play-in.
Maybe. So the only other thing that I kind of wanted to touch on is, do we have any update on what happened with Nikola Jokic? It's just said personal for like 3 games. And if he doesn't play, that's the most impactful injury, right? Like that team is night and day without him. It's insane.
It's listed as personal, and there's been nothing that I've seen. So I was hesitant to call it like injury. Yeah. Because that's like, is it short term or is it just something I don't know.
I thought I heard something somewhere I think on the NBA group chat podcast. It might have been. I think did he have like a kid or something?
You have another kid?
It's something like it's like a family thing, or somebody died in his family. I think it's something like it was. I told you. I think I might have missed it.
So we're
it's a birth or a death. It's something.
Either celebrating new life or mourning life
the passing. It's a real circle of life moment for Jokic. But either way, he had to be. I think though. Hey, the Box Out Boys is not where you come for your reporting, but we're just fans, people. But I heard it was something like that. It's kind of like
regardless, though. It's so clear how big of a difference. It is without him.
I'm looking at a stat here. I don't know if this is from this season or just career wise, but the stat says with Jokic off the floor, the Denver Nuggets offensive rating is 86.3, the worst in NBA history. With Jokic on the floor, their offensive rating is 125.8, the best in NBA history. So impactful, yes, that would be him.
Imagine if they put a team around this guy.
Hey, Jamal Murray scored,
Yeah,
20 points something last night. Russell Westbrook had his 200 triple double. So,
hey, I
maybe
guess
he's just letting them, get their,
letting them cook for a few,
letting them cook, get their confidence up without
get
them.
their confidence up. Yeah, I mean, for me, I do worry a little bit about Holmgren going out 8 to 10 weeks with it's a fractured hip. Is that what that is?
Yeah.
So you don't love to see that when he was playing really well, and then it kind of leaves OKC without a big for a while till Hartenstein comes back. So that'll be interesting, especially like Chris was saying, kind of having a drop off there when he went out. That's not great. And then I don't love to see Paolo go out when the Magic were doing well, and obviously still in third place, on top of the crap pile that is the Eastern Conference. But I thought they were going to have a real fun run with him, and he was looking like a surefire all-star, or maybe an all-NBA type player. But
do you think, just go back to Chris's injury tank on the Raptors?
Yeah.
Do you think it behooves teams like the Raptors and the Pelicans to behooves, you like that?
I love that
word.
I
think it behooves them to
it behooves the Raptors a lot
to milk, not milk, but take their
slow play it,
be very cautious with the return of these injured Pelicans too, I think. All right. I mean, they could probably use the option to stop depending on Zion as their guy going forward.
What are the Pelicans, dude? They've been doing this every single season. They've been hurt.
They should be ready for a blow up here.
I think they're blowing. Yeah. DeJounte is just, I can't believe that trade. Dyson Daniels is just a revelation out in Atlanta. And
would you trade Levine for Zion?
Yeah, just to be fun and different.
Yeah, I would say
it's nice different.
Levine's been good to watch at least. I don't mean to,
you're
but
right.
I don't mean to behoove.
He at least plays more games, which is hard to say. But
I don't know if I'm using
I
that
can't believe that.
Levine's
Levine's getting more games than.
No, you can believe that. He's often injured, but let's
he's not Zion injured. Yeah, true.
He's not Zion injured.
Believe that.
Oh, man. That. Yeah, but it's been a bummer. It's been a bummer, these early season injuries. Yeah. So not fun at all. But let's go to something that is kind of fun. The Cavs start 15-0 and now 15-1 after my boys, the Celtics, put it on them and hung on for dear life at the end.
They put it on them.
They put it on them for a while, for a half. And then the Cavs got serious. But I was excited for that game. I think, Joey wanted us to talk about here. What's more real? Are they title contenders, or are they somebody that's, maybe going to come back to earth? And is this not as real as it seems? Chris, do you think that the Cavs 15-1 start, and obviously giving the defending champs a great game with a bunch of injuries on their side as well, is this kind of real?
I wish, how the poly market became a thing with politics. I wish there was a thing in sports where if a team's really high, you can bet underneath them on
short them.
How the short. I guess you just bet on them per game. I guess that's kind of it. Instead, but I kind of want to short them over a course of a season instead of having to bet each game.
The big short. I like this
because this is a peak. This is peak for the Cavs. I still don't understand. I'm seeing Ty Jerome. Okay. He has 29 points in the first half. In the game tonight, I'm doing a lot of game talk tonight.
A lot of games.
It's been a while.
He's locked in.
But it's just a weird. It's a good team, and they came within 3 points of being the Celtics in that NBA Cup game yesterday, or whenever that was.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
It was yesterday.
All blurs together.
But it wasn't close for a while. I'm surprised it even got close. So I like Mobley. Kevin's great, and Jared's doing his thing. He's getting dunks, but I'm not going to believe this team. I'll be shocked if, honestly, they probably won't make the Eastern Conference Finals. There'll be some team like the Magic or even the Heat that just all of a sudden get hot late. There's always a team late that gets hot, and just maybe the Knicks.
Yeah,
I don't know. The Knicks are still there, right?
The Knicks are still there. They're going to get it together. I will throw out the last 2 times this happened: the '94 Rockets and it was the '15 Warriors. They won the title. They started 15-0. Or
they started the season like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So interesting that the Cavs, are they on pace? Joey, so with that little nugget and Chris's nugget there, I mean, I do kind of like what Chris is saying, it does feel a little bit of like Rose Bulls and LeBron Heat kind of thing, where like, yeah, they're a really good team, but I think ultimately there's a big bad wolf sitting out there in Boston. Do you think this is real? Are they real contenders?
I think they're real contenders because as of right now, I don't think there's anybody else that has shown anything other than them. I see what Chris is saying. Maybe a team gets hot late, but as of now, there's not a whole lot of confidence from those teams that you're banking on history to come back to fruition. And I think with what we've seen so far in the Eastern Conference this season, history perhaps is not the thing to be banking on.
Continuity seems to be the thing, right?
So yeah, and I'm also just kind of feel like swerving on Chris because he was really high on the Cavs.
Let's go for it.
He was high on the Cavs a while back, and now he's starting to waffle on them. So it makes me want to be different.
Waffle? I'm waffling.
You're waffling.
He's waffling. You were Mr. Cavs man 2-3 years ago. Cavs got some guys. Was Chris's?
I mean,
you know what happened is
you called him Kevin Mobley without missing a beat tonight. So like,
you know what happened is
you stopped defending his name.
That summer when Gobert got traded to Timberwolves, I was pumped about it, and then Mitchell got traded, and everyone was pumped about the Cavs. It kind of soured me on the Cavs. I'm like, Mitchell, he's 6 feet tall. I don't get this.
Okay, that's what it is. Yeah.
So I'm kind of still in that kind of.
You soured.
No matter what.
Soured.
No
it's
matter
all right.
What. Yeah.
Sometimes
how it is.
You sour on a team and it goes bad. I think we got another. Is what's more real here, or that's what I was supposed to compare them to. I missed my notes. Or Dallas, 8-7. Are they a play-in team? They had a big loss in the Cup, in the Emirates Cup, losing to Steph. This is a couple weeks ago. About in a week.
I feel like they're both kind of real because I feel like the Mavs, like all the things that we had issues with the Mavs with last year, I thought would be cured by them making the run to the finals last year.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like all those same things are happening again.
Cook, Joey.
It's like, what are you? Where's Luka, your supposed, dominant superstar?
Yes.
How come nobody cares about you? Like no one's talking about the Mavs. Like it's just they're just kind of like floating.
They're 8-7.
Right. But like no one's even like kind of like, hey, 8-7 is not that good. Like they should be better than this. They've lost some games to teams they probably should have won.
It was like 4 in a row at one point, right?
Yeah, and Luka just looks like, I don't want to say disinterested, but like he doesn't look like he has that like killer Luka mentality, right? Where you're just kind of seeing him dominate and take over games. And to me, we talk about this all the time, right? Like every team has to have a dude. Like Luka's clearly the dude, but it's like, does he want to be the dude? Or is this just some sort of like weird season where everybody is just not caring right now until it matters? And if that's the case, then I don't know where to take it, but I'm concerned about the Mavs. The Mavs don't look good to me. I just not.
Yeah. Chris, let's get your thoughts.
The Mavs are the team that I thought the Sixers would be, where like they don't care, but they're still 500. Like the Sixers just took it too far. They can't win any games. Like at least the Mavs are still 8-7. They lost. Did you guys see? I think it was against the Nets the other night when Luka just lost the cut, and he just he dunked it in and they lost the game. That was the end of the game. It's like you have no interest in playing defense at all.
Yeah,
and it was that's tough to see. And
tough.
That's tough.
But he's also a guy that could literally just turn it on come playoff time. If we see him in a 7-game series, you don't want to go up against him.
I guess, and I think Joey had a good point where he's like, nobody's talking about the Mavs. The conversation I've seen about the Mavs is all about Luka's defense right now. It's about that play in particular. There was a couple other plays that I've seen like a few edits of Luka's Olay defense starting to look like Harden out there, putting together a mixtape. I kind of saw that in the finals, and then obviously to a lesser extent in the conference finals, Western Conference finals. He had a great offensive performance. What are you going to do? But in the finals, in the finals, I saw that guy that just is not interested in playing defense at all, and I don't think you can get away with that in today's NBA. I think you have to have 5 guys out there that can at least competently guard or not just be complete liabilities. And right now, I don't see that coming from Luka, and I don't think it's changing either. I think we know who he is. Like, he's a great offensive player, maybe the best offensive weapon in the game, besides Jokic. But defensively, he's just not going to bring it at all, and I think that's going to be a problem. I think it's going to be there.
The Mavs Jazz with no Luka, though, right? Correct? He's got a catch.
Who's that? Is that me?
He's not listed out yet.
Okay, he's not listed out, but I know that he's got a.
Why was
MRI.
he playing game 82? It's a great question. This is why you don't play game 82.
He tore his calf, or he's got a strain in his calf. Strain.
Well, we're listening to ourselves here for a second.
Is this the that's tough moment?
Yeah, I was listening to it.
That was with Jalen Brunson. Yeah.
I was listening when you were talking though, and like the same conversation we were having is kind of like in that same vein. It was different, like he was playing that game, but like they were playing at that time for something, and like we were still arguing, like not arguing, but we were discussing leading into that, like why does it seem like Luka doesn't like put it all together all the time?
Yeah.
And like you can forgive the really bad defense if he's scoring
stuff,
34, 35 a game, but if he's not doing that, then what is he to you?
Yeah. That's tough.
That is tough.
I just don't think it's, I don't know. I've soured on Luka, where I'm not as impressed. He's one of the guys where I'm just like, yeah, all right, man, you're gonna have to prove it to me come playoff time. And if you want to do this crap now, I guess that's fine. But I just don't think, like, you can look at kind of the inverse of what Boston did last night, where they kind of were up for that game against Cleveland for at least for the first half, and then decided just like, took their foot off the pedal or whatever. Cleveland just, locked into gear. But they were up for those games. They were up for game 1. I remember when they had broke or tied the record for threes. They're a team that's pretty serious. And, you look at the other side of the last year's final matchup, the Mavs just don't seem as serious, even with getting Clay. And he's talked about trying to win a title so he can get a little revenge on Golden State. But I don't know. Golden State's number 1 in the conference.
Is Luka just like the ultimate definition of like guaranteed like 1B?
Ooh.
What do you mean?
Like, is he like the perfect description of like your spot on 1B player? Like the team doesn't even have a 1A.
Yeah.
So he just becomes like, the 1A player by default. But like, is he like your perfect like 1B guy? Wow. Like,
he's better than a 1B.
No, I think it's weird. I get what Joey's saying. He's not a number 2, right?
No.
That's not what he's saying.
Like you don't want to rely on him to like take you to the top just on his own.
Like a Durant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like a Durant. Durant needed Steph.
Right. Like you can never get over.
Well, like that's why Kyrie's there. That's why they have.
Yeah,
plays,
but
right? Like,
Kyrie is like the perfect number 2, right?
Kyrie's the perfect number 2.
He's the perfect number 2, and he's always been the number 2, right? LeBron was 1, Kyrie was 2. Kyrie was never 1B. Luka is like, he could win you 2 games in a series, but he could also lose you 2 games in a series if he's just on his own.
Yeah. So who would be the perfect like 1A for him right now?
Giannis.
Yeah, high energy.
Yeah, cleaning up everything at the rim.
Cleaning up everything, like just like a completely different mold, like really high defense.
Yeah,
downhill, just like not like a high skill player, but just like high, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but like, and then that just gives him all the space to do whatever he wants, because Giannis can just sit there in the mid range and post.
Yeah.
I still think Giannis to the Mavs to me would make so much sense if he ever leaves Milwaukee.
Yeah, well, they're getting close. Speaking of the teams
they
that
might
have issues. All right, you want to do a couple more here?
Yeah.
All right, we got what's more real? Jokic keeping this up, his insane pace, another MVP season in the mix, or Ant keeping up his Steph Curry like run. Chris, let's go to you on this one, man. What do you think? What's more real?
Okay, so as the resident Minnesotan, I want to say Ant. He's currently at 42%, nearly 12 attempts a game. It's absurd what he's doing. He did have a night against Portland earlier this week where he went 0 of 9. They lost the game by 8. It's tough. Makes 3 of those, right? Math. But Jokic, dude, if Jokic comes back after this whatever personal thing's going on with him, what's stopping him? What is it? Like nothing can, he's leading the league in assists and rebounds. He's 4th in points. He can go for like the triple crown, which has probably never been done before in basketball, right? Maybe since Wilt or Oscar did it.
Probably somebody. We have to look that up. Stat for next week.
Like if he does that, he should be MVP. People are talking about Tatum. He's just not. He's just
he should
not.
He should be in the conversation. He should be in the conversation.
Sure, let's include him in the top 5. He's number 4, right? Like,
yeah.
It's going to be Jokic, and that's why I think it's more. So the answer to this question, it's more likely Jokic. I love to see what Ant's doing, but I just think he's going to regress to like 38%. He's going to have some more 0 of 9 nights. I feel like at some point it's
going to
come a great start though.
Yeah. This Jokic thing, man. I'm at a loss for words with this guy at this point because he keeps doing it no matter what. Like they lose KCP, they kind of have that rough start, and you're thinking, all right, this could be not great, but here they are again. Like he's dropping 40 like it's nothing, and all the rebounds and assists. Joey, what do you think about this, man?
I'm out. I don't give a shit about Jokic unless they win another title.
Yes.
I don't care anymore.
I love it.
I'm so over it. Like I don't want him to win another MVP. I don't want them to be good. Like,
what do you mean? What? Like, what is it?
Oh, what is it? Yeah, let's hear what it is.
I don't know. He's made it so it's a terrible take. He's made it so normal that like I don't care anymore. It's almost like the Tom Brady thing. It's like they just became so normal at it that I was just like, I just want to see.
Well, it's like LeBron, else. Right? Like,
yeah.
LeBron just did it for a while.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, Joey doesn't like LeBron either. So.
I'm not a big LeBron fan.
He doesn't like greatness. He likes underdogs.
I don't. You're right.
He likes Zach LaVine.
If the Nuggets are good, like I have not had a problem with it when the Nuggets are good.
They're in the 5th right now, 8-5.
If they kind of land in that middle zone and they, first, second round exit, like it's gonna leave a bad taste in my mouth about
what? I'm a little bit with Joey.
I'm still gonna respect the stats. Like I'm not saying the stats.
Yeah, no, I respect the stats. I kind of don't want him to win the MVP either, and maybe a little bit of I want my boy Tatum to get some love, but I just think if they're the 5th seed or 4th seed and he's got like every metric, I get why they're giving the award, but I don't know, man.
Dude, if he doesn't win the award with the stat line, he has almost 30 points.
He should.
We don't even have to say the numbers. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares about the stats.
Nobody cares with the numbers, but I mean, like I don't.
He shouldn't 56% from 3. I don't know how do you quantify this man? Like this doesn't make any sense.
It's absurd. No, it's honestly it's absurd what he's doing and like his efficiency numbers and all that stuff. He's just a freak. He's a freak, man, and like he looks like he's so casual out there too. He's like just casually doing this. Like, all right, I guess I'm gonna do this.
It kind of reminds me about like Tim Duncan when he always averaged 20 and 10. Like I used to be wowed like, oh wow, Tim Duncan has like 22 points and 18 rebounds. But with Jokic, it's like, oh wow, he's got 40 points, 22 rebounds, and 15 assists like every game. It's so stupid.
And it's just like I don't know. Maybe it frustrates me a little bit because I think about how cheap Denver has been sort of over the last couple of years. I mean, I know some of the losses they couldn't really, there was no way financially they could do it because of the cap and stuff. But like not paying KCP, things like that this summer, I'm kind of bummed that here you have this guy that's just a once in a generational player.
They went a weird route where they overpaid for Porter, Murray, and Gordon, which like none of those guys are getting that money anywhere else. We feel like. But at least Brown's like looking all right. Strother was looking good for a minute. Watson's okay. But yeah, I think maybe getting rid of Porter or Murray, not Murray, but maybe Porter, and just
Porter might be the one,
and just like making that into 2 or 3 different guys would have been. But nobody wants Porter. Nobody wants that back.
Nobody wants that.
So I don't know, they're in a weird spot.
It's like they didn't overestimate, but they over expected Murray's title season to continue.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Right. They
Murray's
were fully expecting it to be like what they got in that series to win the title. They were going to get that every game, night in, night out from him and Jokic. And it was going to be this perfect 2-man game. And it was going to be, you know, if Jokic has an off night or isn't scoring more than 12 points and he's got assists, we're just going to feed Murray all night and he's going to get us 40 and it's going to be fine. And
Jamal Murray's like the Tony Parker of the Nuggets, but at least Parker has like a Finals MVP and some All Stars.
Yeah,
Murray doesn't even have an All Star. Like it's so weird.
It just kind of gives me vibes of like the seasons when Murray was hurt. And it was Titus was always like, man, if the Nuggets just had Murray, this is it. And Jokic was putting up these lines. I was like, dude, this guy's amazing. And it was like, well, yeah, he is, but they're not going to win. So cool.
Yeah.
He's just amazing, which is not bad. I'm not saying he's amazing. Cool. It is. But
the Nuggets are just amazing, but they're not going to win. Cool. I like that. Joey's new take. No, actually, my like hot take theory is that the Wolves just broke them last year.
Oh yeah.
I think the Wolves broke
the Wolves stole that. Yeah.
Well, I think specifically Jamal Murray, they broke that dude because, like, you think about it, that first round, he was hitting those game winners against LeBron and AD.
Had the swag.
He had the swag, and then those dudes and the Timberwolves were just hounding him, and they made him look silly. And I know he still had some moments later in the series, but I just don't think mentally, I don't think he's right. I think
they cooked him.
They cooked him, man. The Wolves did something to him.
That's interesting. After his half court staring at
he had that. I think about that moment.
Right. But yeah, then he gets like bottled up. I don't know. That's interesting. I want to agree with your take so hard, but like I don't like it thinking that like, oh, he's broken now. But
yeah, no, I don't I mean, like it's kind of a dumb hot take type thing, but I just that I will always point to that series as like if he never becomes the Jamal Murray of that, of that finals run, I will personally look at that series and go, yeah, he was just never the same after that one. And
that'll be the narrative, right?
Yeah. The narrative that I'm coming up with, that I'm making up. But no, he just was never right after McDaniels was just all over his ass. So
speaking of Anthony Edwards, do you want to hit that one real quick?
Yeah, you do Anthony Edwards.
Did you guys see the article from NBC Bay Area where they were talking to Steph about him potentially hitting 4,000 threes at some point this season? Or maybe next season.
Total, right? Overall.
Yeah. And he said the one person that he considers a threat, well, not a threat, but a legitimate threat, is Minnesota Timberwolves star Anthony Edwards.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
that's interesting.
He went on and just talked a lot about the pace that he's on and some of the numbers that he had and how he's technically at this point outpacing where Steph was at his point in his career. And the fact that Anthony Edwards is only 23. With the way the league is, he was saying, hey, that there's a legit threat to this, it's somebody like him. They're referencing how Harden is second to him now.
Yeah,
he passed Ray Allen, but he's miles behind him. So it was interesting because I know last season we talked about which was more likely to be broken, LeBron's scoring title or Steph's three-point record.
Yeah.
I think we all went with LeBron's scoring title as at least less likely to be broken. But what's interesting, if I went back and looked, and one of the players we named that potentially had a chance to break either one of these was somebody like Anthony Edwards, because he's starting young and he's just putting up like monster point total. So it was interesting to see that Steph literally called him out as the guy that he views as like a threat.
So hearing that like was kind of cool at first, but then I had like this feeling of sadness about it, where it's like Anthony Edwards came into this league as like this slashing dunker that's just light up,
ruining
up
him
and down the court. Now he just shoots threes half the time. And it's just like, dang it. This is what, like Brook Lopez, right? Like he became a good player because he shot three. All these, the big men always became stretch guys. And that's what Anthony Edwards now too. Now he just stretches the floor.
Jokic came in and was this big passing big, and now he's shooting 56% from three. It's ruining him.
Right? Like,
just ruining him.
That's what maybe why I think Ant might, like he's definitely a real threat. He's got the time, and the pace on his side, but he's just such a high flyer. I mean, sometimes those guys, their careers are aren't as long as a guy that's just primarily a jump shooter like Steph was. So
Steph missed like an entire season too.
yeah,
Maybe that's why this will.
it'll
his
fall
career.
at some point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, with the
threes,
way
these
they're
guys are
shooting threes
shooting,
now, it's
yeah.
going to fall at some point, unless the league changes in favor of it. But
Yeah.
But
it'd be fun to see somebody try and chase it down, because, like we said, no one's touching LeBron for a very, very long time. So if there's another like record being chased into the next like 10 years, that'd be something to.
There's
Ant
nobody
would be
that
the
cares
guy-
enough about LeBron that cares as LeBron. Like Luka was the guy, but like Luka doesn't
he
care.
clearly doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
No, I think Ant would have a little want to do it if he was like getting close or realized he could. I think I could see Ant like pushing.
Do you
to
think
do
Ant's going to? I think your point about Ant not playing long enough though might be the scary part.
I think that's what'll get him. And not that he was gonna have like a Rose situation, but like I just he might be done after like 15 years. You know,
Didn't he say that like if they win a title, like he might just go try and play in the NFL?
Yeah, was that with the interview with Justin Jefferson?
Yeah. He was like,
they recreated
like,
the Moss photo.
Yeah. If I win a title, I might try and play in the NFL. I was like, I could see that happening. He seems like the kind of
I can also see him doing that. Yeah.
He's gonna do the full Jordan arc, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
I'll take 2 seasons off. I'll go try out for the NFL. See what happens.
Yeah, man, he's a good guy. So hoping he keeps firing him. All right, you guys ready for a cup date?
Cupdate.
Let's hear the cup date.
The cup date. It's honestly looking pretty interesting here. So if you guys are not focused on the Emirates Cup every Tuesday and Friday, lock in. Still in group play. I'll just do a quick update on where we're at and then just get you guys' thoughts. In the East, Group A, Orlando sits on top at 2-0 with a plus 37. The Knicks are also 2-0 with a plus 14. Orlando kind of controls their own destiny here with their last 2 games in the group against Brooklyn and then a closer against New York, which could be potentially for the group because the Knicks are 2-0 and then have Charlotte and then Orlando. So I believe is that between those 2 guys, I actually think this might end up being the wild card region here if they can, and Orlando and the Knicks will both get in. In Group B, we got Detroit on top of that at 2-0. The rest of the group is all has one win. I think the Miami Heat are 1-1, but still a little too early to call here for still an election talk. But Detroit has Indy and then Milwaukee again, and Milwaukee's in second place right now at 1-0. And they have Indy, Heat, and then Detroit. So that could come down to there, but still a little early in Group B. Group C is a very, very interesting group. That's Atlanta sitting on top right now at 2-0 with a plus 13. And they got Chicago and Cleveland left on the schedule. And then who everybody thought was kind of going to win this group was Boston and Cleveland. They're both tied 1-1. Boston with a plus 2 margin, Cleveland with a plus 15 margin. Boston has Washington and Chicago left, so you assume 2 easy wins. And then Cleveland has Atlanta and Washington. So obviously, that one against Atlanta is going to be huge. They got to get that one if they want to have any chance in the group. Obviously, Atlanta already beat Boston, so they're in good shape. And then Washington and Chicago round out that group, but they are terrible, so we're not worried about them. In the West, we got Houston. Group A is still too early to tell. Everybody's just played 1 game. Houston sits on top, but we'll leave that group for now. Group B, the Lakers 2-0, still undefeated in cup play.
It's wild.
Wild. LeBron just loves winning championships, man. They're a plus 11 with Phoenix. Asterisk championships, yes. With Phoenix and OKC left on the docket. So 2 tough ones. Don't think they're making it out unscathed. OKC second place with 1-1 and a plus 10 with LA and Utah left. Rest of the groups are all 1-1. So, and then Utah's pretty much out. Group C, also kind of interesting with Golden State on top, 2-0, plus 8 with the Pelicans and Denver left. And then Dallas, Denver, and Pelicans all 1-1. Although Dallas does have a plus 38 margin right now, and they have Denver and Memphis left. So,
is that plus 38 from the Pelicans game?
Yeah, that was from the beatdown. And then, a 2-point loss or 1-point loss against Golden State. It's probably fine. So, Any big surprises in the group so far? I think maybe Detroit on top.
Detroit for sure. Yep.
I wanted to talk about Detroit. Like, I know they played the Bulls the other night. I think they lost. I think the Bulls actually won that game. But Detroit's 7-9. They're a team, guys. They
solid.
got some guys.
They're finally proving everybody right.
JB Bickerstaff.
It only took 4 years since drafting Kate. Anyways, yeah.
But you guys know what it is, right? You know what's making them better.
No.
It's the all-star of all you can have them team.
Tobias is a fourth option.
Tobias Harris.
Great, right? He's the perfect fourth man.
Yeah, he's a perfect.
I don't know if you want to call that like a 2B or like a 3B, a 3C.
A 3C. I think a 3C. The best 3C.
He's a 3D guy. He's a
4A.
A 4A. I love this.
Because Malik Beasley is having it some moment. He's been getting 20 a game for like the last 8 games.
Yeah, but they lost the Bulls, though. Yeah, it's just
just the Bulls. Joey's.
I mean, they're not great.
You can't say you're
the
team
Pacers
if you lose to the Bulls. The Pacers are reeling bad. So
Indy's 0-1 here, negative 13.
Looks like a schmuck.
I was wondering, like the Pistons or the Knicks. I know the Knicks because they're 2-0, and like they feel like a team that has to prove something because they've been kind of off to a weird start. But if they like win this, maybe they'll kick them into gear a little bit. I mean, they're still fourth in the East, but you know what I mean.
I flagged the Magic because both those wins came without Paolo, and then I looked up who they beat, and I was like, oh, they beat the Hornets by like 16, and then or like 26, sorry, and then they beat the 76ers. And I was like, okay, well, that's not as surprising. That never mind, scrap that, move on.
But I think that's going to be the most fun group because, like I said, they have Brooklyn next, the Knicks have Charlotte next, and then they both play each other to close out the group play. And I think that'll be another like notch it. We got to watch that one, like Mavs, Golden State, and then like Cavs, Celtics. I think we'll be watching Orlando in New York in the last game of the group play.
So, do you guys have any thoughts on what ends up in Vegas? From 1 week of this? From 1 week,
I don't know.
Be wild. Come on.
The Lakers just win it again.
The Lakers they're going to end up there.
I think Lakers Pistons. I think the Pistons are like the Pacers of last year.
No
like
way.
Kind of just like, why not?
I think Orlando is the Pacers of last year.
I think the Knicks are the Pacers of last year.
No. I think those teams are going to realize that this doesn't matter and not care. The Pistons are going to be like, hey, this is our shot. Like they're going to be talking just like it's like the Pacers were last year. Like we've never been in a chance to like. It just seems kind of like fitting. Like they're not going to be as good as the Pacers, but the Pacers were not as good as the Pacers were last year. We learned that very quickly.
But I think you're right. But I also think I don't think Detroit's that good. I think this is a little bit.
They just lost to the Bulls, right?
Just lost to the Bulls. There's no way.
All you gotta do is win one game, though, when it comes down to it, right?
So I mean, I think they'll get in
any game, any night. So
they should get into group play. I think it'll be Houston will be interesting. They're sitting on top of Group A, but like I said, Group A is kind of early. Everybody's just played one game. Minnesota's the only team with 2 games, and they're 1-1. So
I hate the Rockets.
The Rockets are going to be. They're going to be in the mix.
Rockets got some guys.
I know, but like when you watch Dylan Brooks play, it's just like God. It's like anything you're around just makes me like cringe.
I'm with you, Joey. They're a team I don't really care about.
And then it's like, oh, you still have Ime Udoka, like that's cringy too. It's just
cringy too. Yeah, we're just gonna. Oh, he's a great coach now. Okay, cool.
Okay, yeah, cool. Just gonna forget about this.
We're just not gonna talk about anything. All right, fine, whatever.
This is America.
This is America. Oh yeah. Well, anything else on the Cup, guys? Are you guys excited for it? Here, we lock it in.
Sure. I don't know. 2 teams, 1 cup. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I love that. 2 teams, 1 cup. Who can win it? I do love.
I like the courts. I was watching the Celtics the other night. The Celtics one looked really cool.
Do you like that? I did
because they had the
parquet.
The parquet.
I actually like this version of that better than their normal version.
Really?
Yeah,
I was not a fan of the green.
Oh, really? Yeah, I like
She's the most Celtics fan I know.
I like the courts, but I'm a sucker for different jerseys and courts and designs and stuff. I enjoy that stuff.
Except for the Bulls jersey.
What? Well, I mean, I like the idea of the jerseys. I'm still gonna rip on them, but I like
that
the
one, it
idea.
was bad this year. It wasn't a great.
They're
city
all
edition.
bad this year.
Yeah. All right, I do have one. I'll do one last minor because I've been waiting to bring this up. But since you talked about jerseys, you know what? Maybe call me an old man here, but I'm not a fan of not wearing white at home. I know it's been a few years, but I feel like the home whites, we need to bring that back.
Just like in general?
Just in general. I think across the board.
At some point?
It was a tradition for a while, right? Am I crazy? Am I living in, is this a Mandela effect?
I thought there was. The Thunder right now are wearing white and they're at home. But it's not like you don't have to.
But it used to be like the home whites, because I remember the Bulls every time they were at home, they were wearing the white ones. Celtics, I don't like the Celtics wearing the black ones.
I thought sometimes the Bulls would wear black though as an alternate, right? But they wouldn't wear red at home.
Yeah, they wouldn't wear red at home. Which then I remember at the time I was like, oh, but I never get to see them in their red jerseys when they're at home. Like that's not cool. But I don't know. I just kind of like.
I agree. I don't understand the rhyme or reason behind it.
I don't either, but I just feel like the home whites, you should just wear the home white ones and not look that good in it. Because
this is such a get off my lawn moment.
It's my get off my lawn moment. You know, bring back the home whites.
Bulls had a good white. The one of their city jerseys that were white looked pretty good.
The one last year?
It's a creme.
Is it the last year one?
No, I think it's this year, right? It's the white with like the tan.
This year's white. Last year was the white with like the old Chicago Y, like imposed that.
Yeah, and it throughout, right?
Yeah,
I like that.
That was I feel like they should wear their primary. I feel like they should wear their primary color at home.
Like the red.
I think home whites. Yeah,
home whites is dead.
I think home whites is dead. They should wear their primary color at home.
I don't hate that.
Or do they not, because their court has the primary color on it and like the paint and the out of bounds, so like it's too much?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it was. I just remember it from the 90s, the home whites, and I miss it.
But I thought we're done with the 90s, so we're going back.
We're done with the 90s, except for the jerseys.
We're going back.
We're going back.
Yeah, it's okay. 90s are in.
90s are in now.
Only for jerseys and colors.
Only for jerseys and colors. That's it.
Okay. And rules about.
I don't know about colors.
Home
the 90s colors? Come on, man. Like an old school Hornets jersey?
Sorry. All right. Never mind.
We're off the rails.
This has just been subtle jabs the whole night. I love it. All right. Well, that is it for us tonight. Follow us on social media at the Box Out Boys. Slide in those DMs. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review on YouTube and Spotify. We very much appreciate that. So until next time, a box out.